Emily Galagaski here with Jessica Verilli of Twitter. We're here at Fort Mason for SOCAP, a partnership between Just Good TV and Women 2.0, to talk a little bit about the panel that you were on yesterday, all about broadening horizons around mobile. And I'm curious to hear if you could recap for us just a little bit about what it was that you talked about on that session yesterday with Vodafone.
Yeah, absolutely. So during the panel yesterday, I tried to remind people that Twitter is fundamentally a mobile company. The service actually began exclusively over SMS. And then the message I tried to impart was, looking forward as we think about many of the initiatives that people attending this conference are pursuing, very socially grounded efforts. Some are philanthropic, some are capitalistic or for-profit initiatives that are hoping to have a social impact. For many of those efforts and people in the audience, being able to deliver information through SMS is really important. It's a way to reach a lot of people, particularly in the developing world. So I tried to speak towards how Twitter could potentially be useful for that. And I highlighted the fact that many of the visible use cases of Twitter over the past year and a half or 2 years that we've really exploded in growth have been mobily based. So if you remember, like the photo of the plane in the Hudson, of course, right? That was someone's phone. And the Iran Revolution, which Twitter was visibly associated with that event, and organizations in Moldova for protests there. Those really sensational, highly visible use cases of Twitter have all been mobile. And it's not a coincidence, right? It's that people witness things and they've got their phone in their pocket. So what I tried to highlight was how mobile is fundamental to the company. It's been fundamental to the products we've built from the very beginning, the growth of the product to date, and increasingly important as we move forward.
And tell us a little bit about, so for social entrepreneurs who are interested, maybe they have several followers but really want to raise money through Twitter. What are your best practices and recommendations for social entrepreneurs sort of just starting to take advantage of more of Twitter's tools?
Yeah, we do have some general best practices that we share. They're actually posted, if anyone would like to look online, at business.twitter.com. But in general, we encourage people to let their brand or their tone shine through their tweets. Meaning, like, for people who use Twitter, when you follow accounts where the personality comes out, it's just a much more interesting source of information. We encourage people to use it as a conversational tool to see who's already talking about their brand or talking about efforts or initiatives that align with what their brand is interested in or their organization, and reply to people and really get engaged.
Tell us a little bit about how fast follow sort of plays into the products that Twitter is currently rolling out.
Yeah, so fast follow is an enhancement that we recently launched to the SMS user experience. So it's actually very relevant for the organizations in the room, I think, who want to be able to send information through text messaging to people in developing countries. And it allows you to get started with Twitter with one text message, and that is just to send follow. One of the panelists was Baby Center from Johnson & Johnson, so follow Baby Center to 40404. If you're in Haiti, as an example, that's our short code there. And that would allow that user to start receiving all of the updates from Baby Center, and they don't even have to create an account. So it's just one text message, and then you end up receiving all of the tweets of that account you're interested in.
And Twitter is a very different organization today at 300 people than it was when you started a year and a half ago. How is it that the organization makes sure that some of these global causes still stay front of mind with all of your expansion?
Yeah, it is. I was mentioning before that when I started we were about 30 people, and it is certainly a different organization at 300, great and growing and wonderful but different. And one of the things that's been exciting is we've been able to hire fantastic people to take more of an agenda-driven approach to a lot of this. So those use cases I mentioned in 2009, the Iran Revolution and Moldova and these huge global events, we didn't plan for that necessarily, and it's not to say we were planning for that now, but we're making more of an emphasis on international development and growth. We've hired a VP of internationalization, a woman from the State Department and formerly at Google named Katie Stanton. We're doubling down in mobile. We made 2 mobile acquisitions this year, both on the SMS infrastructure side and a mobile application, Tweety, the iPhone app. So I think there's a lot more in store for us, both in mobile and international.
And where can people follow you?
I'm at Jess.
Well, thank you so much. It was fun to talk with you, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Good deal.
To follow Jessica, visit twitter.com/Jess. For more in-conversation interviews with female founders, visit women2.org.